Ray here. We're on to our last section, other features. So, first of all, in your main iMovie here, go to the end here. Now, as it turned out, I accidentally put this after other features. Not sure how that happened. I'm going to cut audio so you don't hear all that. Okay, I just I had to delete some of this. Okay, now put your cursor after the other features title that you should have in there that looks like your other main title section titles, but before the end. Now my the end here for some reason doesn't have a title over it. I have no idea why. I probably knocked it over, but knocked it. It is easy to knock stuff off by accident when you're editing. So I've done that many a time. So I'll just put another one here on the end. Now here I got to drag it out. For some reason my background was down to less than a second. So that was kind of weird. And I always throw a fade to black. I use fade to blacks a lot, especially around titles, like after a title or going into a title. Okay, so I'll put the end. Fix that. Now, as some of you have learned, I know that for a fact because I've talked to you, if you don't hit the apply, you're gambling on whether or not it's going to keep your changes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So don't forget to hit the apply when you edit your titles. Okay, so it's going to go in right there. So I click there, make sure my playhead goes there. Then up here in the, click on the My Media if you're not already there. Now, I just noticed like my little sidebar for some reason was condensed. So I had to click on this little button here to bring that out. Of course, with the projector and what I'm dealing with here, everything gets condensed on my computer. Okay, go to the import. So click the down arrow for the import. And then go to the import to. Everyone should know about events. Okay, we want to keep this footage together in its own event so we don't get it confused or lost with other stuff. So go up to new event. Everyone know what we're doing here? Everyone should. We've done this several times in here. Go up to new event and literally call it other features. And then hit OK. So therefore, when we import this footage, it will already be an event called Other Features, so we can find it easily right there. Okay? So with your video imported, we got to select it. Sorry about that. Got distracted there. Okay, go to your folder you download, Other Features, or whatever it's called, video, other features video. Now you can do a couple of things here. We want to import everything in there. If you select the folder and hit import selected, I think you'll import everything in the folder. But if you want to be on the safe side, double click and open the folder and then select all three of these. Now, two are MP4 videos, one is a JPEG photo, but that's okay. You can select it just like a video clip and then go ahead and import all of it. So you're going to end up with a event called Other Features, and you're going to bring in two videos and a background, which will be from a JPEG. Okay? And then, as usual, click on the little gear if you haven't done so, like I need to do here, and expand it so you can see everything in there a lot better. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty tough to work with. Okay, whenever you got some new video, it's always a good idea to drag your playhead through it just to get a feel for what we got. We have a girl here at a desk doing some announcements. Another girl, a couple of them at a desk. We got some in front of green screen here looking around. We got some fixed video of Venice, Italy. We got some girls at the anchor desk. We have some volleyball footage. We got some that time Coach Buck and some swim footage. Got Mr. Borders talking about some stage upgrades. and some theater stuff and things around theater. We got some choir footage. We have the cheerleading coach talking, and some footage of the cheerleaders. We have the marching band. We got the dance team. We got some miscellaneous other stuff on here. School shots, some guitar videos, and so forth. Now, the one that's called, I think that's pretty much everything right there. And then the very end, we have this background. So I think we'll start with the background. So at the very end, you have this shot here, which is just a photo, okay? Drag that down right after other features. Mine came in at 3.5 seconds. And then go ahead and drag it out to about 20 seconds or so. Okay, so this is going to be a background. Now we're going to put a green screen over it of people anchoring. Probably no big surprise there. So now we're going to go up near the top and find these girls here anchoring. Okay, see these two here anchoring? So select about 20 seconds of them anchoring. Well, you can select like 10 seconds or whatever. You can always drag it out once you get it down there. Okay, so you might have to hold down the R. Drag it. Now, I accidentally started, must have been near the end of their anchoring, so it went into volleyball right away. So I'm going to now drag across them. Now I'm up to 30-some seconds. I don't need that much. Maybe about 20 seconds. And then drag it on top of that picture you just brought in there. So that background is going to be on the bottom, and the green screen is going to be on the top. Okay? Do it for about 20 seconds. So if you dragged out your bottom one to about 20 seconds or slightly bigger, you can always resize it, you know. Also this here, if you selected 10 seconds of it, not a big deal. You can drag on either side to drag it out to the width that you need to do, okay? Then click on the green screen part up on top. Everybody with me at this point? As you figure out, we're doing green screen here, okay? This is how we do green screen. You put a background down first. A lot of people do it backwards. When they're new to it, I'll walk by and show and say, my green screen's not working. And they have the green part on the bottom, and they got the background on the top. The background always got to go on the bottom. Whether it's now background can be a photo, background can be a video. So there's various things you can use for your background. Now we have a studio type background, and we have their green screen on top. Now to do the green screen, up here above, see this pull down menu right here? It's right up above here. There's 4 options there. One's called cutaway. One's called green and blue screen. One's called split screen, and one's called picture in picture. You probably figured out we're going to do the green blue screen. Okay, so when you do that, it should bring in the background in the green part. But we're not done yet. Okay, when it does that, now this on first time here, this looks pretty good. At least on mine. I can't speak for all yours, but on mine it looks pretty good. But I'm still going to show you a couple of things you can do here. With that same, top part still selected, okay, up here on top where you're at the green-blue screen, they have something called softness. There's a little slider. So you can slide that back and forth to see if there's anything that, make it look whatever you think looks best. Then to the right of that, there's like a crop thing. We're not going to use that today. But the one next to it looks like an eraser. I use that a lot. So click on the little eraser there, and then click around the background. And it's going to give you a little different look and feel on the green screen. Now this one came in pretty good, so you're probably not going to see anything too radical. But occasionally, occasionally it can improve quite a bit. Sometimes your green screen doesn't look that great when you first pull it down. You get some gray areas in that, and you got to click around and adjust it. It's basically picking the shades of green and, depending where you click, it may adjust it a little bit. So you do that until you say, okay, that looks good. That's about as good as I'm going to get it. Now at this point, you notice there's still an apply button up here. It's not a bad idea to click apply. Okay, that should bring in all your changes. Now we're going to do one last thing here, and we're going to put a title over this. So go to your titles, pick a lower third. I'm not real picky which one you do. I'm going to do expand lower third, and put it on top somewhere near the beginning of that. Maybe drag it out to about 6 or 7 seconds. We don't necessarily need it for 20 seconds. You could have it for 20 seconds. It won't hurt anything, but at least 6 or 7 seconds. Double click. And what we're going to do, we're not going to call it green screen. What are we going to call it? Do you guys remember from your opening terms? What's it officially called? What? No, not green or blue screen. Do you guys remember chroma key? Chroma key is CHROMA, and then key is KEY. It's a separate word. If you want to get real technical, this is called chroma key. So the concept of chroma key is you are removing a color. The most common ones used in video, because they're least likely to conflict with skin tone, is the medium green that we use and the kind of medium blue. Technically, not in iMovie, but if you're in Premiere Pro or Final Cut, you could literally remove any color. So you could shoot somebody against a pink screen and remove the pink. Okay? So chroma key, that's what it is. Now, iMovie, which is, of course, stripped down and made easier to use and made for, not professionals, they automatically narrow it down to the most common blue and green that people use, and they just call it, green screen, blue screen, or whatever. But technically, it's called chroma key, so we're going to call it chroma key. Okay, it's going to be a chroma key example. So that's literally how we do it. So now an important thing there, if you take a look at the green part I shared with you, you try to get your green behind it as even as possible. Now that one isn't perfect. If you look, there's a little bit of shading in there. But you try to, with your lighting and other factors, you try to get that green as even as possible. So if it's a very varying green of shades, it can create problems for your chroma key. Okay, so we technically call this chroma key. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, let's go back to our My Media and the footage there. We're going to do another green screen right next to it. This one's going to be a little different. You see this little footage near the beginning from Venice, Italy? Okay, there's two parts here. One part is this part right here. I literally shot that myself. I wish I would have let the camera run a lot longer, but I let it run for, 30 seconds or something like that. So you got that one there. And if you go just a little bit into it, it cuts to a different location in Venice. So we don't want to switch in the middle locations. Okay? So you can pick, let's do the first part. So this part right here, everyone see that? Hold down the R and drag. Now, don't worry if you get it perfect, because when you bring it down here, you can always drag it a little more, or if you go too far into where it switches, you can always drag it back. So go on either side of your drag here to get, as much of it as you can. So I just did that. I ended up with about 12, 13 seconds. Okay. Now, that's it right there. I clicked on it, so I got about 12, 13 seconds of this part right here. I think I was selecting that, and then either way. That's going to be for your background. Okay? Now, we're going to go to there's some green screen here. A girl's looking kind of weird. It's near the beginning here. The same group of girls here. And they're standing in front of a green screen looking around, waving, walking in like that. Find the one where they're all three in the shot. Like this right here. I think one is there first and the other two show up. So we're going to select that. Okay, it looks like I can come up with about 8 or 9 seconds maybe. drag that down and put it on top of this. Might have to drag it a little bit to see how it works. Okay, I got one first with the girl in the white shirt, and then she kind of walks away, and then the other one shows up. If you want to cut that white shirt one out, that's okay, because that was really like a separate shot. So I'm going to edit it down to where the next girl shows up. There, right there. So it brings it down to about, I got 9.7 seconds. Okay. Then the background you can drag to the same length. And then, of course, when you're clicked on top, you go up here to your blue green screen. And at first, it doesn't look that great. But we're not done editing yet. Okay? When you first do it, we have some issues. There's some shadowing from them standing fairly close to the wall. That's kind of messing up. It doesn't look that great. But we're not done. We're going to make it look a lot better. We have several issues. We have the shadowing, makes the background not look quite right. You can see the shadows on there. The lighting difference. I mean, one is daylight that looks a little drab on here, and the other is them in the studio with studio lights on them, so it sticks out, doesn't look like they're there. Our goal is to make it look like they're really there. So how do we do that? Okay, with the top part selected, first we're going to start with that eraser. So click on the eraser up there and start clicking around your background. Now that made a huge difference there. I clicked down here where the shadow was. Right there made a huge difference. Now I can click around until I get where I think it's going to look the best. Now I click down this bottom right corner. That seemed to make it look the best. Okay, where some of the most shadowing was. Okay, that seemed to make the background way better. But they still don't look exactly the same. They don't quite look like they're there. They still look like, studio lights. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click up here. See this thing here? It looks like a painter's palette. It's a third one over up here. Now when you do that, you have 3 sliders on here. The first one got like your blacks and your whites and your various shades in between. So you can slide any of those sliders. Now remember, at this point we're focusing on the girls, and we're trying to get them to look closer to the background. So you can maybe, try a couple of these, see if it makes anything better or worse. Maybe this one's not the best one, but you can try it out. Now you also have these other sliders that do various things. They saturate and desaturate and stuff like that. I'm going to desaturate them a little bit so the background looks a little more desaturated. I can play around with this other slider here and try to do that. Now I can also edit the same type of thing on the background. How do you do that? You click on the background clip instead. Then you come up here and play around with the sliders and see what you can do there. Making it look a little different, making it brighter, making it darker, whatever you think is going to look better. Whoops, don't want that. So you can edit either the background or them. It's a third one over here. You got all these options here. So after playing around with it, it may not look completely perfect. It may be hard to replicate actually being there. But you shouldn't end up with something that looks something like they're there. Okay, there they are. There's that one. Now she sees her friend show up. And, it's not all bad. Now, one thing I noticed there, it looked a little weird, is the background there. You start seeing like a little line there. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to crop it. You can crop the background. I do what's called crop to fit. I click the background. I can crop this a little bit. And let's see if that makes it look a little better. Yeah, there was something weird down in the bottom right corner. I think I took care of that with the crop. Okay. So that's just another variation of a green screen. Now for this one here, you can click on the title from the first chroma key, copy it, put your cursor on top, paste it in, and then just name it chroma key 2. So you should have your chroma key and chroma key 2. Okay. Now, we're going to take a short break, but before we do, just because I'm going to stop this video right now. Well, I guess I'll stop. I can always start it up again, have a part 2. Okay, I'm going to go up here and click